Okay, the Seattle Seahawks just got great news on the defensive line in two different ways, which we are going to talk about in this video. And on a day that roster cuts happened, what I want to concentrate on for the Seahawks is what happened and work that they've already done that makes this defensive line elite. This is a team that is going to look to the defense to make plays under a defensive head coach in Mike Macdonald, and that is okay. We will also talk about a couple of things that happen on the offensive side with roster cuts. But first, let's get into the good news defensively. We'll start with a player that you already know. All right, Uchenna Nwosu. What you hated to see last year was the fact that he missed 11 games with a torn pec. And then when it happened, oh, nobody needs to see that picture. Thank you so much. All right, but then when that happened, in the preseason game, the first drive of their preseason finale, Wyatt Teller decided to jump into his knees. And you're like, what is going on? And he's writhing in pain. They're saying 2 to 6 weeks. It looks to me like the Seahawks are thinking it's going to be closer to that 2 to 4 because they have yet to put him on the IR. And with them not putting him on the IR, what that means is that they think that he might be able to return before week 5 of the regular season. You see, if you put a player on the IR, there's the short-term and long-term IR for the season or a short-term IR, which is 4 games. If you put a player on the IR, great, you can open up another roster spot. You don't have to cut somebody, especially at this time with cuts. But they felt that his knee was not in serious enough jeopardy that it's going to be done for 6 weeks. So they did not put him on IR, which means that he likely will be healthy before the 4 games, and he is someone that you absolutely want to have. Now, in other good news on the other part of the defensive line, on the interior of the defensive line, you have had a player that is absolutely balling out in the limited amount of time that he's played in the preseason, and that is Byron Murphy II. In an article by The Athletic, they talked about which rookies are absolutely standing out, and Byron Murphy was absolutely one of them. All right, they said Murphy started Seattle's second game against Tennessee and was a problem on the very first series. As expected, he looked like a pass rush piece for Mike Macdonald. Becoming a consistent presence against the run is the final step, as Murphy has 3 down tools in multiple spots. We also saw against the Chargers the play that's going viral where he is absolutely against a zone blocking scheme. He turns the running back inside and makes the tackle. Just some beautiful things that show that he is an absolute freak of nature, and that's exactly what he was at Texas. In 2023, he took those ridiculous athletic traits and he turned them into very, very solid play. And what I like seeing with him is that he graded out well in every single game. The only game that he did not grade out well in was Wyoming. Like, that doesn't make any sense, right? Every other game he graded out really, really well, with some of his best games coming against their toughest competition. Oklahoma State, Iowa State, Kansas, Alabama, Oklahoma. These are all in his top 5. Washington. These are all in his top 5-6 games played based on PFF scoring, as you can see right here. When you look at his grade, pass rush grade, elite. All right, true pass, elite. Win rate, elite. Run stop, elite. Run defense, really good. All right, so now we look at all those things, and he's a good player in college. It already is seeming to transfer into the pros. And why you drafted him with the 16th pick, I believe. All right, why you drafted him with the 16th pick was not only his play on the field when it all came together, but he's an athletic freak. He got a 9.04 on the relative athletic score. If you watch my videos, you know that I throw the RAS into at least every other video or so, especially in the offseason, because I like talking about players and what their ceiling is. Byron Murphy only gets knocked in 2 areas. He is not in a extremely above average or absolute top echelon of athleticism or strength in only 2 areas, and that is his height and his weight. All right, but 6 foot, 300 pounds, 297. That's the weight in underwear, basically, right? Underwear Olympics, all right? This was weighed either at the pro day or at the combine, so therefore you're testing at that weight. So if he's big on his weight, if he's coming in big, these numbers would suffer. So this is going to be a playing weight for him, all right? PFF has him listed at 308, all right, which is even better, right? 40-yard dash, elite. All right, his straight line speed is elite. His vertical, his broad jump, elite. His bench press, very good. His arm length, okay. Right hand size, who cares? Now, this guy can do things. This guy can do things. And you can see right here, how does this compare to Aaron Donald? People know. And people understand what kind of a ceiling this guy has. And that is why it is so important to understand what we're looking at here is a player who absolutely has some skill. All right, that is the good news. It's not just you, Seattle Seahawks fan, that's seeing it. It's people on the outside looking in that realize how good he truly can be for this team. And he is being added to a defense that already has the ability to be really, really good. Lovin Jenkins in the back end. You got Witherspoon. You got Reek Woolen on the outside. All right? Boye Mafe. Like, I'm telling you, like at the other, Leonard Williams at the other defensive tackle. This is a defense that can absolutely wreak some havoc, both against the run and the pass in just base sets. Just in base sets, in a base nickel, in a base 4-3. You don't have to do all these crazy things with this defense, especially if Nwosu is healthy. If Nwosu is healthy, then all of a sudden, are you kidding me with this? You got Boye Mafe on one side. You got Nwosu on the other side. You've got Leonard Williams just wreaking havoc on the interior with Byron Murphy. Like, what are we talking about? Send 4 guys all day. Let those players in the back end, right? Let Julian Love make some plays. Let Reek make some plays. Let Witherspoon make some plays. And that is the exciting news because if you watch this channel long enough, you understand I'm a big proponent of winning in the trenches. Offense and defensive line. The defensive line, I always talk about the offensive line. If you have a good offensive line, it makes everybody better because it allows the wide receivers more time to get open. It gives the quarterback a longer time. He feels more comfortable. It opens bigger holes for the running back, so it makes the running back, the quarterback, the wide receivers all look better. When you have an elite defensive line, it does the exact opposite to the offense. So it makes your corners look better. It makes your defense look better because the holes are not as big for the running back to run through. The quarterback does not have as much time because you're putting pressure on him and you're able to do it without sending extra men at the quarterback. That's the beautiful thing about it. When this defensive line is healthy, right? And left to right, it goes Nwosu, Murphy, Williams, Mafe. You can't double team all of them. In fact, you can only double team one. And if you keep a tight end, sure, you can double team 2 of them or chip one, but then you don't have enough resources to go out and run routes because the defense has 7 players in coverage. A great defensive line can mean elite things for a team. And when you have a defensive-minded head coach, when he has that line, you think about the last time, you think about what he had in Baltimore last year. It was a really good defensive line. And he got the most out of them too, right? You think about what he had at Michigan before he went to the NFL. He had Uche. He had Hutchinson. Like, he had an elite defensive line at Michigan as well. And that is why his defense has been able to be so good, because you can play in base sets and you can do all types of deception and disguise because anytime you need to, you can just rush 4. That is why they got such good news on the defensive line. All right, thanks for watching the video. For more Seahawks content, please like and subscribe. But honestly, we just talk about the NFL on this channel. We love talking football. The season is almost here. Real football is almost here. My goodness. By the time you're seeing this video, I mean, we're 9 days away from the regular season opening up on a Thursday night. All right. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.